Hello dear friends and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video we will continue studying games of Ashot Anastasian. I collected another 4 games. Let's go. So we will start with this game, with this position. Ashot Anastasian 2591 is playing with the black pieces against Heikki Kallio 2502, European Championship 2002. White just played bishop c4 e2, and here knight g4 threatening bishop f3. Yes, white could easily go queen c4. Of course, black does not have any problems, and we are most likely getting some close to equality position. But here, Anastasian's opponent played rook d1, ignoring bishop takes f3 threat. Bishop takes f3, bishop takes, queen h2, king f1. And now the point is being that a8 rook is hanging, g4 knight is hanging, and d7 knight is hanging. But knight e5, bishop takes, rook takes. No doubts, till this position, even further, both players calculated. Rook a7. And now just rook f8. And it turns out that black does have enough forces and enough threats to have winning position. c4 check takes, knight c6, important move, knight takes f2, yes, and h5. The rest we can enjoy. Ashot Anastasian did not give any small hopes to his opponent. h3, rook is under attack, rook e8, h2, f6, stopping all queen f7 ideas, knight e4, h1, knight b3, knight d2, knight c4, and here knight a5. Yes, very interesting game. Knight g4. No doubts queen c4 would have been better for white. But white player ignored this tactical idea of bishop f3, sacrificing an exchange. Maybe he saw rook a7 and thought white is already doing okay. But Ashot Anastasian saw and calculated further and won a very beautiful game. Yes, another game against Emil Anka 2464. Ashot Anastasian's rating is 2529. Played in 1999, and here we know the best continuation and strongest move is to play bishop b7. Black played bishop a6, takes, knight e5. Yes, here maybe rook e8 would have been slightly more precise than c6, knight f3, bishop d6. Anastasian played bishop f4, very decent move. Computers are suggesting bishop g5, bishop takes, rook e1, with the idea to go e4 and open up h1, a8 diagonal. If you go bishop b4, then knight d2. Anyway, white is preparing e2, e4. So bishop f4, knight e4, rook c1, attacking the pawn. Yes, now knight d2, takes, f6, knight d3, knight a6, rook c2, doubling the rooks along c file. Bishop f4, knight f4, queen d6, threatening some knight b4, a3, stopping. Yes, computers are showing bishop h3, knight d3, knight d6, e3, knight g5. More or less, black consolidated forces. And now eventually they played some active move, knight g5. But very soon Ashot Anastasian is punishing his opponent, queen b4. Of course, if you take after knight b4, you are having a lot of problems with your pawn on c6. And now I like this idea, queen a4 attacking the pawn on a7, and now queen b3 attacking another pawn. Bishop a6, in this way protecting the pawn on b6. If you capture, then you are losing your knight on d3, knight f4. Many threats are there, queen b6, rook c6, this rook takes. And here Emilanka, rated 2464, resigned. If you go bishop c4, some moves are there, but I can easily capture bishop g2 takes d5. Very classy game by Anastasian. Yes, another one is against Sergei Tivyakov. Anastasian's rating is 2545, Tivyakov's 2611. European Team Championship, Batumi, Georgia, 1999. And here black, Anastasian just played knight e2 g3, attacking the pawn on f5. Here Tivyakov took on b2. Computers are showing that strongest would have been a3, bishop c3, queen h6. And now at least black is having bishop g7 and game ends in a draw by move repetition. Also black can take on e1, rook takes, and now knight e5. Not the easiest move, of course. If you capture on c2, then after knight h5, black is losing, but you do have this tactical idea, knight e5. And still we are having some equality. Tivyakov played bishop b2, bishop takes f5, bishop c3, queen h6. No doubts when he took the pawn, he saw bishop f5 and queen h6. If you take bishop e1, then after knight g5 you are facing a lot of difficulties. Bishop takes f5, knight f5, queen f6, and now g4. Bishop takes e1, rook e1. Despite white is exchanged down, but white is winning. Many threats are there, including capturing on e7, rook a7, knight g5, queen h8. But with your queen on h8, white always does have more than enough compensation. Here Anastasian played queen h5, knight e4 would have been slightly more precise, with the ideas to go g5 and d6, eventually getting access to f6 square. Yes, queen h8, queen h5, rook f8, stopping knight h6 and knight f7, check, and knight f3. Again, d6 would have been stronger, takes knight e4, with the ideas, I guess, to play the same knight f5, g5. So knight f3, rook d8, knight d4, rook d7, knight f5, knight c6, queen c3. Here we are having double-edged position, rook e3, queen a1, queen c1 was also possible. Of course, king h2, otherwise knight f4 ideas are coming. And now rook e8, queen h6, queen f6, h4. Yes, and here in this position, Tivyakov went wrong. He could play e6. After e6, we are having double-edged position. One of the possible moves for white is to push the f5 pawn to d6. Yes, if you take on b5, then always knight e7 ideas are there. and king h8, preparing rook d5, and now h5, rook takes d5, and here white does not capture the knight, because after h takes g, f takes g, we are having double-edged position. Knight e7, intermediate move, and Divyakov went rook d8, rook d8. If you play this, then h takes g, now g7, queen h7, queen f8, and also e7 is hanging. Rook d8, and now h takes g, f takes g, and queen h7. Beautiful checkmate idea. King h7, rook h3, queen h4, rook h4. Here white also could start with queen h7 and then h takes g. Doesn't matter how do you take. Rook h3 comes and finishes the game. Such a attacking game by Ashot Anastasian against such a strong and high rated player like Sergei Divyakov. And our final game is against Hikaru Nakamura. Anastasian's rating is 2596. Nakamura's rating is 2662. Karabakh International, round robin tournament 2005, and we are having this position. Anastasian played queen e2, c takes d, takes d, b takes c, b takes c, d takes c, bishop c4, and we are having playable positions, slightly preferable for white. I just want to show this game how slowly Anastasian is outplaying his much higher rated opponent, and of course Hikaru Nakamura. Knight b6, bishop b3, e6, knight e5, knight d5, rook c1, queen g5, g3, and here queen f5, knight f4, queen f3, knight h3 does not really work because of king g2, queen f5, king h2, h5. So far players are making all the strongest continuations or something very close to it, h4. And here, for example, Hikaru could push a5 or even something at least not very obvious, bishop e5, then knight b4. So rook d8, king g2, and here knight b4 would have been stronger than bishop h6, because now rook c5, and white is already slightly better, bishop f8. No doubts Hikaru saw rook c5, he wanted to go bishop f8, forcing rook takes c8, rook c1, and surprisingly or not, this is quite unpleasant position for black. Knight c3, queen f3, takes, and now the main problem is being that white's king is much closer to this side of the board than black's king. Here a5 would have been stronger, knight b5, but could easily go king e4. Anastasian went knight c6, a6, again a5 was possible, king e4, bishop d2, here computer likes a4, bishop b4, computer likes king d3, a4, king d3, knight d8, knight d5, knight d7, and here, for example, computer suggests knight takes, bishop c4, and white is much better. Bishop c4, f5, king e3, knight b6 would have been slightly more precise, takes. Yes, if you take on e5, of course you are losing your a6 pawn, and slowly I will start pushing my a pawn. Bishop b6, king e2, knight c6. Here bishop d2 would have been stronger, then bishop c3, a5, bishop b5, king d7, f4. king c7, bishop c4, king d7, bishop e1, and of course we fully understand mutual inaccuracies, maybe connected with having not enough time, and also we had very complicated position. But anyway, Anastasian managed to trick his opponent. Knight d4, knight c6, bishop b3, king c4, preparing king d5 ideas, king c6, stopping, bishop d1, and here the strongest continuation would have been king c7, and somehow black is holding this endgame. Hikaru went knight d5, and after bishop f3 this is lost for black. Bishop c3, bishop d4, if you take, then after king d4 you are in Zugzwang. You should move the king and you are losing the pawn on d5. Now bishop c5, king d4, not rushing. Bishop g2, because if you take, it takes d, you don't have e6. And now of course we don't have more moves, but no doubts Hikaru was very upset and resigned, because bishop d5, it takes d6 is coming, and then white is pushing e7, winning pawn on d5 and winning the game, of course. Such an interesting game by Ashot Anastasian against Hikaru Nakamura, 2005. Hope you liked these selected games. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you do have any stories, anything related, connected to Ashot Anastasian, please tell us in the comments. Thank you very much. See you in my upcoming videos.